like to give you a quick tutorial on the fundamentals of frame drum, some of the basic fundamental strokes that you can play with this. So there are 3 fundamental strokes, a low stroke doom, a high stroke tak, and a muted stroke called pa. So for the low bass tone called doom, put your hand out like this and let your thumb totally relax and just throw your thumb down with this wrist motion. Okay, so once you got that going on, bring it over here and we're going to hit the drum approximately right there, that same motion, and then let it bounce off. So this is doom. You want, again, the hand to bounce off. You want it to be a nice resonant stroke, get a nice big low sound, hitting with kind of this part and the thumb, the fat part of your hand. Okay? If you're still working on this, pause the video, do that a bunch of times, come back. Okay? So that's doom. The next stroke we'll do is pa. Pa is just with hand right in the middle, a muted stroke. Pretty easy, right? And so then you can combine doom and pa. So you can go doom, pa, doom, pa, doom, pa, pa, doom, pa. Okay? 2 strokes. The third stroke is called tak, and that is with your ring finger right here on the edge of the drum. Again, we're going to make this rotation motion. I think of it as like the itsy bitsy spider motion. So moving the hand like this, if you put it next to the drum, you can watch it kind of rotate around the axis of my first finger. And we want to hit right at the edge of the drum, kind of with that fat part of your finger there. This is called tak. Note, if I move my finger in just a skosh so that it's beyond, the rim is beyond the knuckle, you get a lot more sound going on the edge, a little bit in. So really try and be precise with this and get it right on the edge. Oftentimes, when I first started, it was a lot of like this type of thing where the finger was really extended. I try and keep my hand fairly flat, my fingers fairly flat, and so I don't get a ton of that motion happening. And so sometimes I'll play with my middle 2 fingers, both on the edge, to get that sound. So now you could practice doom, tak, doom, tak, doom, tak. You could go tak, pa, tak, pa, tak, pa, tak, pa, tak, pa. And you could make your own exercises going in between, right? Boom, pa, tak, pa, boom, pa, tak, pa, or just go all the way around. Boom, pa. Basically, you want to be able to move from one stroke to the other as fluid as possible. So you can make up some exercises going between the 2. Okay? And then your left hand, you got to use that somehow. The left hand primarily plays tak strokes. If you get a little more advanced, we can change that, but primarily plays tak strokes. So to do that, bend your fingers like this and drape that over the edge of the drum. And I'm going to play tak with my middle finger, so I want to rotate my hand up so that my middle finger is right on the edge of the drum. And then it's a lot of finger motion. And if you haven't done this before, your fingers might say to you, what are you doing? I never do that, you know? So it takes some time to develop a little bit of finger muscle, but it will happen. This is something that you can do in the car while you're driving. You can also do this with your ring finger. I tend to use my middle finger more often. Okay? And just to teach you one Arabic rhythm to get this started, if my philosophy is if you're going to study a drum from another culture, you might as well learn how they've been playing it, how they've been developing it for hundreds or thousands of years, so you can see where it comes from. And so this rhythm is called Malfouf. It's a simple pa, 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 okay? So you could also, instead of playing pa, you could play tak. Or you can make a little 2-bar phrase and alternate them. Pa, 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 or you could go mix them up within the phrase. So that's our skeleton. And so what you can do with the left hand is fill in the inner beats of that skeleton. So now if we slow it down a bit, we're going to go pa, pa, ta, ta, pa, pa, okay, and if you do that with taks, you can probably play the right hand a little louder so we can still get that skeleton rhythm. Do that a bunch and then eventually speed it up. So just to get you started on the frame drum, a couple variations. So I showed you one type way to play each stroke. There's more than one way to play doom. That's one of my favorite things about the frame drum is it's receptive to a lot of different techniques, and you can get pretty nice sounds out of it with a bunch of different techniques. So doom, we played it with the thumb like this, right? Pretty big, pretty fat sound. If you want a more focused sound, you can play just with the tip of your ring finger right about there. I like this sound and use it a lot. The other advantage to this is going from tak, the open thumb doom is quite a distance to travel, but going from tak to doom here isn't that bad. Now if I was going from pa to doom, I often choose the thumb because it's a little easier than going. So part of it is sonic preference, part of it is logistics and what is idiomatic and flows a little better. So you can play doom with the middle finger, you can play with the thumb. You can also play it just with a full hand, like an open tone. Open tone on a hand drum. And you get that really big, fat sound. You can also, if you've worked on your tabla ga stroke, you can play doom with your left hand. Which takes a little bit to develop, but is possible. So striking down like this. Okay. Those are some doom variations. Some tak variations. You can play tak with this first finger as well. Right? And then you can also do a snap, just like you would normally snap your finger here. Put your hand, your wrist at the base of the drum, and sometimes I do like tilt the drum out like this, and then snap into the drum. Same thing up here, your hand's already there. So that's a bit louder, more of an accented sound. You can get a lot more velocity and get a sharper sound. You can do more than one snap. You can snap through all your fingers. That'll be a different video. And then one variation on pa is you can play pa by getting a flam by putting your thumb kind of in the way of the rest of your hand. So it goes, so make this shape with your hand as opposed to